Welcome back. Today we are going to dive into another tutorial. I am super excited. I don't know if you guys can guess what I'm excited about because I've only said it a million times, but I'm super excited about this freaking toilet that I'm making. So I have it over under my UV lamp right now. The other day, so I went ahead and poured some resin in the toilet bowl to give it that like watery, gross look. And I used my UV flashlight. I set it under my UV lamp for like 20 minutes and I tipped it over because I'm making like a little spooge bowl kind of thing around the rim of it. Do you know that I freaking tipped this thing over and I turned the light on and I left it because I figured it was cured. I mean, half an hour, that's a long time for UV resin to be cured. I came back and it was everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck? So I had to clean it up. Thank God it was only a little, like it wasn't a crazy amount of resin, but still, what a mess. So it had like coagulated at the bottom of the brim where I want stuff, but I want it the way I want it. I don't want it to be haphazardly just kind of like weird. So I don't know why it didn't cure. It was clear resin, I didn't put anything in it. So I just poured it in the toilet bowl. I don't know if maybe there was part of it that the UV lamp didn't get to, or maybe my resin's old, maybe the light is brand new, I just bought it. So if you guys have any ideas why that UV resin wouldn't cure after a half an hour, please let me know in the comments because it was really annoying and I've never had that happen before. I wouldn't expect that out of UV resin. So God, if anybody here's a resin artist and knows what the heck happened, and I can give more details if you want. I mean, I can show, the little part that I put it in and stuff. But yeah, so anyway, so that right now is sitting under the UV lamp again, because I don't want to have a mishap like that, especially now when I'm getting to the final stages of this thing. And I mean, it has to be perfect, right? Before I sell it, it has to be perfect. So it has to be perfect, right? So while that is curing, hopefully, cross your fingers. While that is curing, I figured I would just get on really quick and just kind of explain what today's tutorial is going to be. So today I am going to talk about glue because as everybody knows, there are hundreds, maybe thousands, probably thousands types of glue out there. And not all glue is equal. And just like all white paint is not equal. So I thought I would talk a little bit about glue and the kind of glue that I use on different materials. I'm in the very final stages of this toilet, right? So I have to install all the little pieces. I have the corpse done with the hooks, which you saw the other day. Now I need to get everything where it needs to be, get it glued, get it staged, and then let it dry. So that being said, let's talk about some glue. So just to start this off, I'm just going to hang things, kind of move them around, kind of just get really settled on where I want everything before I glue them, because I have glued things before and then been like, I don't really like this where it is, and the glue's been like half dry and I've peeled it off. And then I have residual glue because some glue has already dried. And then I have to like peel the glue off of whatever the surface was. And then I have to peel it off the element. And I don't want to do that much work today. So I am just going to kind of place things around like a little chessboard. And then I'm going to look at it. I'll show you guys. And then I'll start gluing. You guys, it's time for joke of the day. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. Okay. I'm committed, I think. No, really. I actually really love the way this composition looks. It's not cluttered, but it's small. You can see in between all the little spaces. You can see between the little intestines on the floor, between the bodies on the wall. One thing I actually did learn, way back when I was in figure drawing, my teacher used to talk to us about the space in
our compositions, right? So you always want to picture like a little imaginary guy walking around and make sure he has enough room to move comfortably and he's not like going to be bouncing off of walls and bouncing off of himself or other figures in the composition. So I kind of apply that to my diorama making as well, because if I'm making a super cluttered space, then I'm obviously going to throw that principle out the window. But in stuff like this, I really want it to look a little claustrophobic without being so claustrophobic that you can't tell what's going on and you can't see all the different elements that I'm putting in there. So when you guys are either drawing or painting or creating something 3D like a diorama or a dollhouse, always picture some little dude walking around. And I mean, if you want him bouncing off of walls and stuff, that's totally fine. I feel like that's my brain. It's Toontown in there, right? I used to actually say Friday was Bouncy Ball Friday, and all my little tunes in there were bouncing around. Yeah, so if you want Toontown happening in your dioramas, that's totally fine. But if you want to try to adhere to spatial depth that you can actually see and move your way around, then just picture a little guy kind of running around in there and give him enough space to do so. I think for this wire, I'm going to use super glue. Because it's actually a wire. I think I'm going to use super glue. I found some super glue yesterday. I don't know where I put it. Also, you guys, my hands are orange because I was working on the Clown Cafe before I jumped over this. So, yeah. My hands are orange. And I'm just going to put a little bit up here. I don't really want it to be super visible. This on the back is visible. I'm going to paint this black after to kind of disguise it into the back. So for right now, I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue up there so it'll hold its place. And I'm just using Gorilla Glue, super glue. I love this stuff. By the way, I am not sponsored by any of these companies. These are not, I'm not paid advertisement, anything like that. I'm just telling you what I use. But this, I love this stuff. This stuff's amazing. Fun fact, do not get it in your eyelashes or your eyebrows or your nose or your lips. I have done that many times. I have lost half an eyebrow. It's a hot mess. So yeah, don't do that. So I think I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. It's just get him where I want him. Do we like him this way? Yes, I like him that way. So I'm just going to pinch this because this is wire. You guys, these are like bread ties. I actually think they came off of an electronic that I bought. If you make miniatures or if you want to start making miniatures, here's a pro tip. Save everything when it comes to packaging, because you would be surprised at what you use and the things that you can use stuff for. Like, yes, you can go out and you can buy these little ties, but if you've already bought something and these are in the packaging, why wouldn't you just use them, right? I love when I order like frames and stuff, they come with those big corner keys. They're not corner keys, that was funny. That painter, they're just like corners and they line the whole backside of them. I use those for dollhouse supports all the time. They're amazing. I don't even know if you can buy those things, but they're awesome. So keep everything. Not everything, but keep everything. Because you really never know when it'll come in handy. So while this glue is drying, I just want to take a minute to actually talk about the materials that are in this particular diorama. As you know, most of it's wood, right? These are wood. They're painted with acrylic. they're stained with acrylic. So I didn't actually use any like house stain or lacquer or anything like that. It's all acrylic paint. These bottom tiles, these are a mixture of polymer clay, and then I put Mod Podge over the top of it to give it the look of ceramic tiles, marble tiles, whatever you want to call them. So the bottom base is wood. These are clay with Mod Podge. This toilet is clay with resin. You guys saw me do all the resin on it. The tentacles are cos clay, polymer clay with resin, alcohol ink, paint. The corpse is polymer clay, resin, a bunch of blood and guts. Those are also polymer clay. Fish hooks are metal. Those are actually real fish hooks. And then, like I just said, these little tie things, they're like little twist ties. They're almost like, I'm such a fidgeter. I'm playing with this tiny little piece of wood. This tiny little piece of wood. I'm just like playing it with it. I don't have a fidget spinner. Maybe I should get one. But like I was just saying, these little ties, they're like bread. They're like bread ties. So they're wire with like plastic around them. I'm not sure what that actually is. But so those are metal wire with something around them. So I used tacky glue. This stuff. Amazing. Love this stuff. This is my go-to glue, okay? I will use this glue above anything else when I can. It is amazing. It works for plastic, it works for wood, it works for clay, it works for metal. It's insanely powerful. It works for fabric, it works for everything. I do have fabric glue because it dries faster, but this stuff does work for everything. I do, however, have a lot more glue. I have seen different tutorials where people are using different glues. Sorry, I am wiping my nose. I have already told you about this with me. So I've watched a ton of tutorials with people who use different types of glue. So I bought them to try them out to see their benefits. I have lots of glue. So we have this Fast Set Clear Medium Bodied Solvent Cement, which, what a name. This stuff is insane. If you do not like smells, do not buy this. This has a crazy scent to it. I think it smells good, but I am also that person that loves the smell of oil paint, linseed oil, gasoline, right? If you're one of those people, you'll love the smell of this. Don't think it's particularly good for you to smell this. So if you do buy this, use proper ventilation, right? Use a mask, open a window, turn a fan on, that kind of stuff. If you have animals, also I would keep animals away from all of this stuff. So if you've noticed, my babies are not up here with me today because I knew I was going to be messing around with a lot of glue. So please take caution in when you're using these things, read the labels, that kind of stuff, right? I sound like your mom. But safety first always, right? So this stuff is actually really, really, really good because it's waterproof, it's weatherproof. You can glue something together with this glue and then beat the snot out of it and it'll still stay together. So it's actually really good when I'm doing dollhouses and stuff. I use this a lot on the corners, a lot on the moldings, because I get all that in place, I make it perfect, and then I rip it to shreds. And you can carve out your holes and your weathering and stuff like that in the actual wood of the dollhouse, and this will still keep it attached to where it's supposed to be. So you can take one chunk out instead of, if you tried, you just pull the whole piece of molding off with other glues. So I recommend this stuff if you're going to be doing like that kind of stuff. It's awesome. This glue I have seen everywhere. This stuff, it's good, but it takes forever to dry. So it definitely is durable, and it definitely, like, you can glue something and then pick it up and it's not going to fall apart. So it's really, really strong. It's a great adhesive, but it does take a while to dry. I use this sparingly. If I know I can glue something and set it down for a while and come back to it, then I'll use this. It dries perfectly clear, which is also really nice. It's easy to paint over too. Right, so I have noticed, I don't know how many people in here have tried to do this, but painting over wood glue, it doesn't necessarily work. Acrylic paints do not like to bond on top of, or with, I should say with, the wood glue. So it kind of just, like, you can see the wood glue through it, even if it's not transparent. So it's interesting. This you can paint over and you don't even know that there's glue there. So that is a huge benefit of this stuff. So I do love this stuff. I just use it sparingly because it takes so long to dry. Wood glue. I am a huge fan of Elmer's wood glue, okay? I have used Gorilla wood glue. I don't like it. It does not stick. And maybe that's just my own personal experience, but I have noticed when I am making a dollhouse, if I use Gorilla Glue wood glue, I have to hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it, even though it says it's quick setting. I don't believe that it is. Maybe other people have great experiences with it. It's just not for me. So I prefer Elmer's wood glue. I do have syringes that I put this in sometimes when I am trying to get very precise nooks and crannies, corners. Like when I want something to be perfect, I will use syringes. You can get syringes off of Amazon. I can drop a link below to the ones that I have. They're great. So super easy to fill a syringe with this stuff, right? You just open this and just pour it in, and it actually, when you put the topper on the syringe, it's completely air sealed, so it won't dry in there. So it's really nice when you're trying to do nooks and crannies. So this is my go-to wood glue. I actually don't use any other type of wood glue but this, because I just have the best experience with this stuff. Oh, I have, sorry about my armpit and my chin. I mean, you guys don't understand the breadth of glue that I have. Like, what am I, a glue hoarder? Holy cow. Okay. So, I have spray adhesive, which, if anybody is an artist here, this reminds me of workable fixative, okay? You can spray this on anything and stick something to it, but you can still reposition it, which is really interesting. So if you need something like tacky, but you don't want to commit and you don't want to marry what you're doing, you can definitely use this and you can reposition it, and then you can use, permanent glue on top of it. I don't use this for a lot of stuff because usually it's just in my head and I'm already married to it and I already know what I really want to do. So I just kind of put it together and that's that. But every once in a while I'll use this for fabric and stuff like that, because sometimes I get an idea in my head of a beautiful couch and I love this fabric, and then I put it together and I'm like, wow, that looks awful. So this comes in really handy if you're going to be playing around with different fabrics and you want to see the finished piece instead of just imagining what fabric's going to look like on a certain couch. I don't remember. I think I got this on Amazon too. I think I get most of my glues and stuff on Amazon, actually. So I should probably start a little Amazon list for you guys and show my materials, and that way you can just go and get this stuff if you think it's going to work for you. This stuff, holy moly. JB Weld, this stuff is insane, okay? I had never heard of this. I have never used this. I think it was my husband who told me about this stuff. And a lot of my dioramas and stuff, like my book nooks that I make make sure to light them, because people want to have lights, right? They love lights. So I was having such a hard time I have these fairy lights and the battery is in the little plastic. It's like a little plastic box. Trying to glue plastic to wood is sometimes this impossible feat I was using super glue, I was using tacky glue. I tried every single glue that I could think of. My husband told me about this stuff. It was my husband. Went to Lowe's and got some. I put maybe two little pea sizes of this stuff and it like cemented it together. Like, that is not coming off. Like, nuclear war, that glue's still staying, right? It's awesome. This stuff stinks to high heaven. I mean, you don't even want to use this stuff without a mask on. It is so potent, and it is so, it'll wake you up in the morning for sure. But if you're looking for something that you need to glue the impossible to the impossible, like two things that shouldn't go together and you need to glue them, this stuff will work. It is absolutely insane. It's a powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. It dries completely clear so you can paint over it. It's crazy. It's crazy good. So if you are looking for something that can glue plastic to wood without a problem, this is your go-to. If you're looking for something that can glue metal to wood, this is your go-to. It's awesome stuff. And you can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. I just ran down to Lowe's really quick to get it because I needed it that right then and there. So this is wicked awesome stuff. But again, definitely want good ventilation with this because, whew, it'll put hair on your chest. Like I said, I do have no-sew fabric glue. I do have a sewing machine. I do know how to sew. I am lazy. I am not even gonna lie. I am so lazy. Yes, I will sit down and I will make you a pair of doll pants. I'll make you a little outfit. Absolutely. Do I like doing it? Not really particularly. I try to actually pawn it off on my mom all the time because she loves to sew and she laughs at me and tells me she sews normal size things. But I will sew like pillowcases and stuff because those are super easy. But when I'm doing couch cushions and I'm doing like the elaborate Victorian kind of couches and stuff that I need a pattern for, typically I'll use glue just because I'm lazy and it's way faster for me to do it that way. I'm sure sewing is actually faster for most people, but this is faster for me, so I do it that way. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it unless you're in a competition, right? If you're in like a juried show or you're making a custom dollhouse for somebody who wants this pristine, perfect replica of this Victorian, seating couch or a parlor or something like that, then absolutely you're going to want to sew those cushions because you want them pristine, right? You want them perfect. Luckily for me, nobody's asked me to do that yet. Well, I shouldn't say luckily for me. I would totally do it if somebody wanted it, but I love to just make things pretty and then beat them up and destroy them, give them some age and some weathering. So glue for me is totally fine when I'm doing fabrics because I usually just go in and put some paint and file them and make them look old and weathered anyway, so they don't have to be pristine. I'm sure you could make it pristine with this. I have done it before, but sewing is probably the way to go if you want it to be an authentic, perfect replica. But this stuff is great. This stuff dries super quick. Be careful if you are wearing anything that you like, though, because if you get this on your clothes, it doesn't come out, obviously, because it's fabric glue. So always wear work clothes when you're using the stuff. There's not a lot of smell with this either, so always ventilate anyway, because there are fumes you can't smell, but it doesn't smell. And then last but not least, I think, unless I look up and find more. Oh, I found more glue. That's funny. We always have Elmer's. We always have Elmer's glue. I have glue sticks and I have Elmer's glue. I don't know if it's the kid in me because I am 6 years old at heart and I want to do little crafts in kindergarten with my little braids in my hair and bring them home to my parents and have everybody be proud of me. Or if it's because Elmer's glue is freaking awesome, right? I mean, it's been around for so long because it's awesome. So Elmer's glue does most anything. However, can't compete with the tacky glue. I love tacky glue. So I thought I was done, but I am not, because I do have, I think this is it. Besides, I do have Mod Podge. I don't really consider Mod Podge glue, though. It is an adhesive, but it's also like a sealer, and it's a finish and stuff like that. So I have clear Gorilla Glue that supposedly bonds virtually everything. So virtually doesn't bond everything. It bonds virtually everything. Okay. What is it not a bond is what I want to know. So this says bonds wood, stone, metal, ceramic, foam, glass, and more. It's crystal clear. It's easy to use. It's indoor, outdoor. It's water resistant. There's no foam. I don't even know what that means. Have you guys ever seen glue foam? If you have seen glue foam, I need you to drop a comment and let me know what that experience was, because I have never seen glue foam and now I'm super intrigued. Like, what is that? Let me know if you've ever had glue foam on you. Not on you, but I mean like the act of glue foaming. That's what I mean. So, this is unopened. I have never used this. It has been sitting here for months. I haven't used it because I don't like Gorilla Wood Glue. So, I'm already biased and I feel like I'm not going to like this, maybe one of these projects, maybe one of my next tutorials, I'll break this baby out and we'll have a conversation and we'll see. We'll see if I like it. We'll see what it does. That'll be fun. And no, I'm not getting into the whole business of reviewing projects or products, not projects. I'm not getting into the business of doing that at all. But I should probably try this and see if I like it. So there's your glue tutorial. Your glue product information, your glue whatever. Infomercial. I'm going to call it an infomercial. There's your glue infomercial. We're going to return to the toilet now because I think this is probably, I could probably move this around a little bit. Yeah, I can. Okay, so back to the toilet. Where do you guys think we want to put the, you guys keep seeing like part of my glasses. I'm so sorry. I'm always checking to make sure that you can actually see what I'm doing. So if I just randomly stick my head, yeah. Sorry. We'll have a good laugh about that later. So these are my little intestines that I sculpted. These are cosplay with a crap ton of resin and some paint and some goo that I make. Sorry, I'm not giving up my secret to the goo because I'm obsessed with it. It's awesome. So these are going to go somewhere near the toilet. I have a crack in the, I ripped some of the tiles apart here though. I don't know if you guys can see it from back here. Let me pick this up. There, you see how I cracked the floor? So I don't really know if I want anything on that little crack or not. So maybe I put the big one back here and then the little one. What about that? Do we like that? I think I like that. Okay, so I do like that. So again, this is cosplay, which is a polymer clay, and resin, and some paint, some alcohol ink, and some secrets. And I'm gonna be gluing those to another type of clay. It's actually Sculpey, so it's not cosplay, but they both are polymer clay, so those can be glued together pretty easily. And then I have Mod Podge on the top of it, and then just some stains from some acrylic paint. So I think I could probably just use tacky glue for this too. So, we love tacky glue. So I'm going to turn this so I can do this and make sure that it's straight and it's the way I want it. So I apologize that you can't see. But I also do not use tacky glue sparingly. I am like a tacky glue whore. I put it everywhere. So I do buy a lot of tacky glue. And I know this is overkill, right? Like that is such overkill. However, I'd rather have too much than too little because I don't want my stuff to fall apart and I don't want it to break. And I have had that happen. So I have been on my way to conventions and I pack my stuff very, very intricately. I mean, bubble wrap and foam, and I pack so pristinely, and I call them casualties. I always have a casualty, and it's always some little tiny bit that has fallen off or whatever. So I always bring glue with me. But I've noticed that most of the times that is happening is when I use too little glue. So I have started to up my glue game and use a lot more glue. Sorry, I'm moving stuff. And then when I get little pieces of glue that are seeping out, I don't know if you can even see that. I am trying so hard. That is so hard. Yes, you can see it. Over here in the corner, you see that little white rim? That's glue, okay? I put too much glue, which we know, and I pushed it down to make sure it actually sticks, you know, it adheres. So what I do, and this is gonna be really hard for you guys to see, like really freaking hard for you guys to see. I will try to do this my best to let you see this. I have these tiny little, they're like these little Q-tip things. It's just like it's like a toothpick with cotton on the end, but there's a little point on it. I use these to wipe up the excess glue, okay? So I will go around this little guy and sop up the glue that is seeping out from the side of him. That way, you're not going to see it when it dries. It's not going to be this big. And I just wipe it off with my fingers, because if you get too much glue on the end of this thing, then you're just going to be putting glue back on where you want to be taking it off. Oh, I have cat hair. By the way, there are many cat hairs that get glued into my work, so consider it a blessing from my fur babies if you get a piece of cat hair in your miniatures. Okay, so I wiped up the glue in there. So now we're just going to do the same thing with this guy. Again, I am overkill. Oh, or I could just squirt it on my fingernail. I am overkill with tacky glue. Tacky glue has a faint scent to it. It's not bad. I don't ventilate when I use tacky glue. I probably should, but I don't. I do always have a window open downstairs just because I like the fresh air. I don't have any windows up here other than this gigantic window, which I will show you guys. When I get my studio all set up and cleaned, I will actually show you this window. It is, I think it's 50 feet high. It's a Gothic arched window. It starts at the bottom down in the library and it extends all the way up to the ceiling. It is ungodly beautiful. Like, it is, oh my God, it's gorgeous. So once I get everything cleaned up here and organized for 5 seconds, I will actually do a live or a video, depending. I can't do a live until I get 50 subscribers. So as soon as I get 50 subscribers, that's what we'll do. We'll shoot for that. As soon as I get 50 subscribers, I will go ahead and do a live, and I will walk you through my library and upstairs into my studio, which is the loft. I'll show you my gigantic Gothic arched window. I will show you my favorite place in the entire world, because I've never had a studio of my own. And when we moved into this house, I cannot even express to you the joy, like just the unbridled joy, when I found out that this studio or this space would be my, I can't even talk, I'm gonna cry. When I found out that this space was gonna be my studio, I lost it. So very exciting. So yeah, as soon as I get to 50 followers, I will definitely do a live and show you guys all around my space. So we have everybody glued in to their homes. Everybody's hanging out. I'm going to leave him hanging because I kind of love the fact that he's just like free flowing. So now the very final bits that I'm going to do, because it's not gory enough for me, I am going to put some more water and ick on the ground. Maybe I'll have some dripping down the walls here, right? Because if this corpse is hanging here, there's gonna be stuff, right? I think so. So we're gonna do that. So I am going to take a brief pause and get some gloves and get some resin and blow my nose, of course, and get set up for that, and I will be right back.